Let me see. For me, it's showing.
Not for me.
Yeah, not for me either.
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, now I can see. Okay, you can start now.
No worries. Hello, everyone. Hi, Anna. Welcome to the Women IT Pros podcast. We are super happy to have you today here, especially because we know that you are super busy, you are all over the place. It's difficult to find a good time. And on top of everything, you're also moving houses. So, how's the new life? Are you in Spain right now? Did you settle in?
Hi, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to share this space with you. Thank you very much for making the time. Yeah, I'm currently in Madrid since past Friday, so I'm here. Yeah, accommodating myself, getting to know the place, and yeah, I'm here.
You seem happy, so that's a good sign.
Yes, I am a bit overwhelmed because of the all the information, but doing good. So far, so good.
That's good to hear. So let's start from the beginning and let's try to understand who Anna is. And today you work with Dynamics 365 and you've been doing that for a few years now. However, if we look at your background, you have not started in technology. Actually, you started psychology. So I'm quite keen to and curious to understand what drove you to psychology and what were you looking to achieve after university?
Okay, so when I ended high school, I was really lost and I didn't knew where to go. I didn't know where to start, what to study. You know, you're too young, 18 years old, you're too young to decide where you want to go. And somehow I ended up doing a minor course of HR, human resources, and all my professors were psychologists. So I thought, okay, if everyone here is a psychologist, this means that somehow a psychologist is able to work in HR and also in other areas. So if I don't like HR, I'm able to transition to consulting. I mean, to consulting like a counselor, or maybe to work in a school or stuff like that. But the idea was always to work in human resources. So I did that course, and the second I ended, I enrolled in psychology in the university. At first, I was trying to define into two degrees, but I defined myself into psychology because of the openness of changing if I wasn't so happy with HR. And after all, my idea was to become an HRBP, an HR business partner, and I really wanted to become like manager in human resources. That was my main goal when I ended university, but tables turned, and somehow I ended up here in IT.
That's quite interesting because today you are in IT, but it still has a little bit to do with what you did it before. So around human resources, what does appeal to you? Why did you want to be that HR manager? And looking fast forward as well, how did you end up in IT, take into account that you actually started doing HR?
Yes, I mean, I started working in human resources before I ended my degree in psychology, and that was very, very good for my experience because I was able to know the field before getting my final degree, before getting my final degree. So the thing is that I started to work in different departments in different industries. I worked in government or in sports, in very classical companies as construction companies and stuff like that. And I realized that all the challenges that they were facing, they were very similar, pretty much the same. And I was too I don't know if this is the word, but I felt like itchy every time I needed to face this challenge again. And I knew that there was something that we could do to make that work better. So after a few months that I was unemployed, because I didn't feel comfortable with a company, I didn't share the same values with the company. I joined a Microsoft partner community. Microsoft partner company, and I was there working for HR, basically for recruiting, onboarding, and stuff like that. And I transitioned there to technology. But what I like the most about human resources and what appeals me of the area is the opportunity to be connected with people. I'm a very people person. I need to stay connected. I need to talk. I love culture and making sure everyone is doing okay. So that was like my main, that's what I wanted to do with my career. Yeah, I don't know if it answered your question.
Yes, you have. And it's quite interesting to see that different companies share similar problems. And it's quite interesting to understand that those problems are what drove you to IT and to the area you're at, working with today. Nina, just if you have any other questions you want to raise? No, you're muted.
Yes, sorry. I'm on the Windows 11. Bear with me. No, for me that's super interesting, because like Carolina said, we all know that such problems exist here and there. But for me, it's fascinating that you really have this in you to know this is what I like and this is what I identify with, and I'm gonna stay and be that strong to say I don't like this anymore. This this is not me, so I need to find something else. So for me, this is really, really, really huge respect for that, Anna. What I wanted to ask was, I remember when we were preparing for the call, you were mentioning something like, how did you imagine an HR job, what it is, and how you didn't imagine some other things that you were maybe like surprised with that occurs. So what was for you this moment where you were like, this is not really for me, or this is not something I want to do, and I really want to make a switch? Because so far we already know that you're willing to make that switch immediately.
For me, my moment was when I realized that change management, it was very challenging inside human resources. When I wanted to implement something or start using a technology, and HR people, staff, still using paperwork to do stuff. That was the moment when I realized I can't work here anymore. I need to work on the other side to make this kind of people transition and start working better and smarter. So that was my moment when I realized that it was a change management thing that I wasn't able to do from the inside, and I needed to do it from the other side. So that was my moment.
That was your moment. And I think this is really like a good when you can recognize that, because sometimes it's very difficult to figure it out. Is this like a temporary moment that I have a bad day and I don't like anyone in the office, or really know, oh, this is something I don't want anymore, and make this a change? So do you have any like advice or to share, how did you feel at that moment, so that we can help somebody else potentially identify with, yes, that's exactly how I'm feeling, I want to do the same?
Yes, I mean, one of the things that I felt the most, and this feeling was mostly happening while I was working for government, was like I felt really frustrated because I wanted to improve, I wanted to do stuff, I wanted to processes to flow naturally, and that kind of companies, they work in a different way. So frustration is something that we will find in this path, and we need to make sure we don't get angry at that, because if we do, we're losing. So it's just a matter of recognizing that that kind of companies, they work how they work, and we can do a bit to help them, but it's not something that depends on us, because the nature of the company works that way. So I think that's my advice. Don't get angry and try to find another way. I mean, it's easy to say find another way, find another job, but I mean, try to find some strength in that workplace that you're in, and try to yeah, that's it. Try to find strength.
Okay. Okay, that's good advice. We need to find it sometimes. So, what else I wanted to ask you is, obviously in this call we are talking about all the like openly, transparently, without any like barriers. So we will continue like that. And Carolina and myself already had with some other like guests before discussions around women in IT in general and some of the challenges that this brings. And I guess there are so many different like biases and variations on how this can be like explained, or like some of the learnings that we now know after being through being a woman in IT. And in your case, I would say it's also even more specific because you had this like a base of being a very good like communicator, having empathy, knowing how people like feel, and probably you could use that, you know, like to help yourself. But just did you experience any like of these challenges being a woman in IT, or any kind of like situations that might be interesting to share with us?
Yes, I did have some challenges. I think we're still facing all together. Like the women group was still facing a lot of challenges. But I did felt a few, I mean, a time ago that we didn't have the same opportunities, women and men. I mean, if I wanted to become a leader or a lead consultant, I didn't have as much opportunities as some men of the company. And that was so unfair. And I get easily frustrated at stuff like that, because and that's something that I really get angry at, because why I don't have the same opportunity. And it's even I don't want to say worse, but I don't find another word, because I'm a woman from South America, from a third world country, with with no IT background, working in IT, and I want to get that role. Why I can't have it? So yeah, I did find some challenges, mostly with the opportunities that we have. I didn't ever get into the point about salaries, because I don't want to get as mad as I could. So yeah, I mean, but for me, we are people, everyone, and we should share the same opportunities. So I did feel that, but luckily there's a great Microsoft community supporting women in tech, and I'm surrounded by people that encourage that kind of leadership, and that's very good, and that's the reason I'm moving on and trying to find new opportunities all the time.
That's really nice.
It's quite interesting. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, it's interesting to hear your perspectives, being from South America, not having necessarily that technical background, but still trying to fight and navigate this difficult world that technology can be at times. And technology on its own is quite broad, so it's very difficult to find your position. But nevertheless, it has been a hard journey for you. However, that journey, it is paying off, and you being in Spain is one of those things that are paying off. But also, you've been recently recognized as an MVP. So let's start with the MVP. So for those who are listening to us and do not know what an MVP is, can you start by sharing what an MVP is, but why do you see it being so important for you and for your career to be an MVP?
Okay, so I'm gonna start from the beginning. When I joined that Microsoft partner company, that it changed my life. that I started in HR and then transitioned to operations or projects. One day I told a friend I want to become a Microsoft MVP. I wasn't sure what was that. What strings were attached to the title, to the award, or stuff like that. But I knew I wanted to become that. But I said, like you said, so much things. I'm gonna lose 20 pounds. I'm gonna be an MVP. So I made a decision. Um, and finally got it. So it was an amazing journey, but lots of hard work. Microsoft MVP is a Microsoft most valuable professional. In particular, my category is business applications because I work with Dynamics for Human Resources. This is an award that recognizes professionals from all over the world with their contributions to the community in a technical way, but also spreading the word and getting to market the solution, to show the capabilities, to show what it does, what it doesn't do, and getting to work with Microsoft technology and spread the word. That's mostly what we do, and it was a very hard journey because I started when in the lockdown past year, 2 years ago already.
Almost. Almost.
Okay, so yeah, I started in when I was in Peru. I was living in Peru when the pandemic started, and I started blogging and writing, and I invest all my time and efforts and everything that I could do. I was writing in my blog and presenting sessions and talking with people and trying to make the solution better and giving feedback to product. That contributions paid off. And in December 2020, I got the award finally. So it made my life easier as a professional because it's a recognition that I have. I'm happy to say, I'm honored to say that I'm the only woman in Uruguay with that award. We're only 3 people and I'm the only woman. Yeah. But it encouraged me to keep, working with other women and trying to bring them along the way with this award. But it is for sure something that it will help me, and that it's already helping me as a professional to stand out with customers or with partners. So I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, you mentioned that it was a long journey and you blogged a lot, and that you invested a lot of your time to it and to get this recognition, and being the only woman with this recognition is major. But it would be interesting to understand, like, where do you feel that this award will take you in the future? What do you hope to achieve? And what kind of things do you want to continue contributing to the community and to the wider ecosystem?
This is gonna be good. I'm gonna save this recording and listen to it in a few years. I think that it took me really, really far. Much than I thought. I'm about to start working in a new company, and I will be having a role that it's incredibly amazing. I will be manager, but not an HR manager. So I will be responsible for something that I couldn't think I will do. So that's pretty awesome. I thought that I will spend my entire life interviewing people and doing screening and psychological tests to hire people, but not. I'm here. So I don't know how far it will take me. I think it gave me the opportunity, it opened me a lot of doors. I was able to talk in the Microsoft Build, to talk in some other Microsoft events and the community events. I get invited to places I never thought I would be invited. So I'm not sure where it will take me. I hope to something challenging, and I don't know. Let's see how how it works.
Great. That's really good to hear that you have gone a long way and it opened doors for you. And also you mentioned that you spoke in Build, but you also mentioned that you spoke in other events. You keep also, when we were talking in the initial conversation, the first one to prepare for this one, you mentioned that you always say yes to events, even events that happen at 5 a.m. your time that you don't think, should I have done this or not? So we'll be keen as well to understand like how important it is to speak and show your face to the world, and what kind of like nuggets or good things that it brought to you having this exposure to the world and through this type of events.
I still say yes to all the opportunities that come along. So I did woke up at 4:30 a.m. After the initial conversation we had for a speaking opportunity with New Zealand. So yeah, I still said yes. Now I'm going to be part of some user group in Pakistan. So it's kind of crazy that people are inviting me to these places. But for me, it's very, very important not only showing my face or my knowledge or my experience, but also I'm very, very committed with Dynamics for Human Resources. And it's a solution that is not as well known out there, and people it's not very happy with the outcome on how the things turned with this solution. So I want to make sure that everyone out there is getting to know what is currently happening, despite the news, and the things that everyone talks that they're not real. I want to make sure that the word that is spreading it's the right one, and that we are sharing a good base around the solution, and we're not making things up, because we have some changes with that solution, and people weren't that happy. But I want them to continue being happy. So I'm trying to do that not only because of myself, but also because of the solution that I love.
That's awesome. I think that the MVP community really can offer a lot, but I also think that only people who are going to say yes for some of the things that some other will look at, I can skip that, that really makes a huge difference. So I'm happy that also you said yes to us as well, and I hope you will also inspire someone else that is going to watch this. So I wanted to ask something that probably helped you also throughout your career in general, and also the MVP, which is a mentoring. I think that's a valuable, and especially nowadays when everything is online, all the resources, this is something that can really help a lot in like to a young career like yours. So can you share with us, was this important for you? Did you have a mentor? Anything around mentoring that you can share with us?
Awesome. Yes. When I started, I'm gonna go back, but when I started working in human resource dynamics for human resources, it was an unknown solution. No one knew as much. We didn't have that much documentation, and I needed to find someone that could help me with that because I was implementing it and I had no idea where to start. So I found my mentor there, and it's Malin Martnes. She's from Norway, and she helped me all along the way. She was my first point of contact with Microsoft Community. We started talking, we started discussing around. I mean, I remember my first email was very straightforward, like as if she were a help desk. I sent her a message like, I can't do this. And we started talking. And since then, she was very helpful. She saw all my path, my journey, every activity that I was doing, everything that I was sharing. She gave me feedback about what I was doing good, what I was doing wrong, what were the opportunities of improvement. And somehow, when she realized that I was mature enough to nominate me to the MVP, she did. But that mentoring, it didn't end. It didn't end there. We still getting connected. I mean, we're still getting to talk a lot. And somehow, when I don't know some what to do, and some with some, sorry, where I don't when I don't know what to do with some issue or some challenge that I'm facing, I look after. I mean, I've sent her a message and we talk. And for me, that mentoring was pretty helpful, because it was not only about the solution, it was another woman in IT doing something very similar than I was doing, um, facing lots of challenges, and she was the first person in the world to be known with this solution. So she was the first. I mean, it's a role model for me, and now as a friend, and we talk every day. But in between, she was mentoring mostly around the solution and around what is possible and not. I was able to talk, for example, with Gabriela Schuster. She helped me a lot. We had a 30-minute call and we discussed. I mean, he gave me a chart like where are you? What do you want to go? This a lot of resources to find my path. And Donna as well, Donna Sarker, she's a great mentor. Um, and somehow, after receiving all this information, I I decided it was a good time to start giving back. So I start paying to other people in the community and paying in it. I mean, with my help, and trying to make sure I'm sharing, and I'm sharing my feedback with them when something happens, or when they share an article, or when they have a speaking opportunity. So I've tried to be there. So I was mentor in Scottish Summit, in some other events that needed this kind of figure of, yeah. So it's very important, because it helps you to be a better professional, I think.
Okay. And you mentioned that she actually started as a technical mentor, but then she become much more than that. And yeah, it's a very nice story that you shared. And you also mentioned something that caught my attention is like multiple people, that you do not need to have necessarily one mentor or one person that you talk to on a regular basis, but change as you progress in your career, add some more people, and ask for help, right?
Yes,
so
definitely.
so just one more question. Sometimes we are I mean, people look at the mentoring from different perspectives. In career, that's something I think that at least our generations are like very, very well known, that we accept and embrace this. But what will be your like reasoning why somebody should like do that, or go and seek the mentor and like send this message to connect? Because I know a lot of people that when they become mature in career, they just feel this is the weakness, or they feel as, oh, I don't need that anymore. So what would be your like reason why you believe this is helping everyone?
I think mentorship helps us to be better professionals, because we got a different perspective of what we are doing. It's not about weakness. It's not about being weak. It's about receiving feedback of what I'm doing, and I'm really happy when I got feedback from anyone. So I think it's a good thing to do as a professional practice, to receive it. It's like when you have your performance review. It's not something that you like, because you will have some pain points there that you will need to work on. So mentoring is kind of the same, but the people that is giving you the feedback, or yeah, giving you the feedback, is doing it for you to be better. So it's not about weakness. It's about improving and getting better. So it doesn't matter if you're a senior. Maybe some seniors that we know in the IT world, they have some challenges with communicating skills. So that's something that we could work. And receiving mentorship, it's something that it will definitely help you to find the correct resources to become better. I mean, to improve that kind of challenges. So yeah, that's my recommendation.
Thanks for that. That's awesome.
I love the comparison that you just made with the the review that the performance review that we have. Everyone wants to have a great performance, but no one wants to make the effort for it. And having that a good mentor and going through a good mentorship program helps you to be more aware and more ready to tools wise, knowledge wise, to face those performance reviews and nail them. And I feel a lot of people don't look like that. And to be and pointing back to a book that I'm currently reading about fixed mindset and growth mindset. Fixed mindset people will be those that run away as much as possible from the mentorship programs. However, those with growth mindset, with open ideas, they will be embracing more the mentorship. And even for myself, looking throughout these 5 years that I've been at Microsoft, I've always had different mentors, whether it was technical speaking, because I needed the basis, but also for career or for communication. And I think it has been something that has helped me quite significantly to be where I am. And that's why as well, because I know that how useful it is. I try to mentor other people as much as possible and try to like share a little bit of the things that I've picked up throughout the years. So it's quite interesting to get your perspective and see how far you came with, thanks to mentorship and thanks to having people out there who are willing to help you. And one thing as well that's worth highlighting is you will knock on a lot of doors and there will people will be like, I don't care, I don't want to mentor you. So I feel as well people should not be discouraged for because someone doesn't want to mentor, because there will be other people who will want to do so. Did you have any experience like that where you knocked on the door and they're like, shut up, I don't want to hear from you, leave me alone?
I don't remember having any of that situations, luckily. I did remember receiving an email back from Gabriela, and she's saying, okay, let's have a chat. And that was kind of amazing. And everyone asked me, how did you get there? Because I asked for that. And the reason that we don't get doors open is because we're not knocking on them. So my advice is, it's better to knock 10 doors and get only one response than not getting anyone because you didn't knock in any door. So I didn't have that situation where I didn't have a response back from a mentor I wanted to have, but that I think that was because I knew that the person that I was reaching out, she or he was open to share a bit of his time with me.
Nina, do you have any other questions before we jump to the last question of the session?
I just wanted to like comment quickly on the knocking on the doors story, because I think which probably you know very well, is that you can ask for mentoring different people. And what I think is important is that you get that same energy like the person that you want to ask for a mentor, that it's then you will get most certainly yes, because this person will recognize the same values in you, or a similar path, or something that connects you. So I think that's maybe the reason that you didn't get many no's.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I try to reach people that I knew that somehow they could be interested. And if they say no, I mean, it's okay. It's nothing wrong. Sometimes people, I don't know, they're facing some other challenges in life, so they're not open for mentorship, but you can always retry.
You can always try again, right?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's true. Thank you. So to finish the conversation today, and again, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're a little bit confused with time zones and it's been a struggle for you. But before we finish, I would like to ask you to share with us 3 superpowers that you feel that contribute massively for you to achieve your goals and for you to succeed in this world. realistic ones, things that people can actually pick up, not be transparent or whatever.
I'm gonna write that down because I'm gonna forget it. I have the three in my mind. I want to forget. The first one is honesty. It's something very, very easy to have, but it's a superpower. I get it. I got to a place where I'm sorry. I work for a company where my honesty was valued, where I was able to say what I was thinking without without turning everything around, and that was very helpful for my career because I was able to say I don't want to work here, I want to be here, I want to be there, and that was valued. So honesty is the first superpower. The second one, I don't know if this is the word. In Spanish it is, but I don't know if in English it is like determination or
Yeah.
deciding you want to go there and just going there and working hard to get there. So that's my second superpower. And the third one is a combination between optimistic and cheerleading because that's something that if you're a happy person that's something that the other people will notice and it will spread, when you're happy, when you're optimistic, when you're thinking that the best outcome is going to happen, you're gonna reach it at some point. So that are my three superpowers.
Woohoo.
Thank you. I love them. And I do feel like honesty is so important. If you start lying about of who you are, in Portugal we have this thing that we say lies have short legs, meaning that you won't be able to go far with it. So you need to be honest because otherwise you just start creating this persona that is not you and you have to keep track of your lies and it just becomes so difficult and unbearable. So honestly, I can see like review like honestly, you need to be honest 100% every time in the journey, otherwise you're just putting yourself for a big fat failure and you don't want that.
Yes, definitely. And imagine in a workplace, you can't pretend that you're someone that you're not. Working, you're the most of your day with your colleagues, you can't lie that much. So working in an environment that values honesty is very, for me, is something important.
Thank
And
you.
of course, I need to get back to determination. It's my personal favorite because that's also what you said, even in this call. Like, I want to be an MVP. That's what I want to be. I don't know how, I don't know what is that, I don't know how I will get there, but this is what I want. And paired with optimism, like, yes, I can. I think that's exactly what really kept you from going from one place to another in a successful way. So thanks for sharing that with us, Anna.
I hope someone gets inspired with their superpowers to get inspired.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anna, for taking the time to speak with us. It was a pleasure. And I really hope that you have the most success in this new journey that you just started. You are an European now and you just enjoy
And the
Spain.
manager.
Yes, and a manager, not human resources manager, but still another type of manager. So thank you so much and best of luck in this new journey. And hopefully when things go a little bit better, we can actually meet one day face to face.
Yes, I hope so. Thank you both for the time. I know you're having lots of work to do, but I really appreciate that you make some time to talk with me. It was a pleasure. Sorry that I made up some words. That's what I do because I don't speak English. You don't speak in English either. Like it's not your main language. But I made up words all the time. But thank you very much for your time. It was amazing to getting to know you better and to exchange a bit about my journey and my career path.
Thank you, Anna. You're such an inspiration, and for us, it was already like amazing conversation. I feel so good and so inspired, and I also wish you best of luck to be the best manager and CEO and everything else what you imagine. Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Speak
Thank
soon.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.